into getting healthcare to where people can't get healthcare. And it sucks that people live in third world countries or they live in war zones where they just can't get that. And I don't care about the danger, I just want to go out and help people. But I've always been called dramatic, and I hate being called dramatic because I'm not. Like, I don't feel dramatic, I feel passionate about every single thing in my life. I'm passionate. And so that's where neurotransmitters come into play. 86% of Americans have a neurotransmitter imbalance. That's almost 9 out of 10 people. 9 out of 10 people. So your classmates, all but probably about 5 of them, have a neurotransmitter imbalance. And that means I'm not dramatic. I'm along with 86% of America that's just out of whack a little. Even without pop culture knowing it, without society actually saying it, we put a big emphasis on mental health and mental wellness nowadays. It's not just something where it's like a topic that people are afraid to talk about. Now it's something that's very vital into our society. I mean, even Disney made a movie about talking emotions. So it's very important nowadays. I knew I wanted neurotransmitters when I figured out what role they play. Whenever I figured out that they're basically like little keys indoors, and they unlock all these chemical reactions that cause you to feel everything from how you're hungry, how you love someone, how much sleep you get, or a reaction to an allergy. My mission was to educate generations of people on communicating with their own brain, because the better we know ourselves, the easier we can communicate and the healthier we become. When you know what you're trying to say because you know your body better, you say things more clear. There's not a whole bunch of fog in between a conversation with somebody. You're more direct to the point. You get things done faster, and it just is a better compromise. My mentors, amazing, amazing women. Nikki Drummond, CCE, she is a certified clinical nutrition. She works with basically elderly people and younger people. She tests their neurotransmitters through spinal taps and urine tests. And she figures out basically what type of diet they should have according to their neurotransmitter balance. And then Professor Monica Linden, she's a professor at Brown University. She's amazing. She went on maternity leave back in August. And so she couldn't help me throughout the whole entire year, but she did give me a textbook for Brown University that also pairs with UT in Austin. And so that's their online neuroscience textbook. And then my book mentor is the Nobel Prize winners in medicine and physiology, and it's where I got all my information about Otto Lowy, which is the person that created neurotransmitters, or, well, discovered them. 1921. Otto Lowy had a dream about 2 frog hearts connected by a vagus nerve. And basically the vagus nerve is a giant synapse, and it transfers information from one heart to the next in this experiment. And he would electrocute the first heart, and after some time, the chemicals that were excreted from the first heart would start touching the second heart, and then that second heart would start doing the same thing as the first without even being connected to anything, just the first heart. And so that's where we found out that neurotransmitters are messengers. They're amazing little connective things that happen through our body constantly. They're chemical receptors. They cause us to feel and react to everything: hunger, activeness, need to be loved, allergies, sleep cycles, stuff like that. The 2 types that I focused on are excitatory and inhibitory. Inhibitory are what calms your body down. It's what puts you to sleep. It's what's going to cool you down after a fight or something like that. Your excitatory is where your fight or flight comes in. It's where you're going to be super pumped up. It's where, basically, it's what gets your summer body going. It's what pumps you up to do stuff. So yeah. I focused on 7 neurotransmitters: serotonin, dopamine, glutamate, GABA, histamine, and noradrenaline and adrenaline. Those neurotransmitters are the most important because they're the ones that we can track. They're the ones that we can control the most, whether it's with our cravings or how much stress we're under, how much sleep we're getting, stuff like that. I took out endorphins versus my other earlier presentations because really it's like a sister to adrenaline and noradrenaline. Like, it connects to them too much for them to be their own separate neurotransmitter, but there's actually 200 of them in your body constantly going. I wanted to make a curriculum for our health or biology classes. That was my way of getting the information out to people. I thought this is like the best way for me to get students involved in knowing what they wanted in life, and like getting to know their healthy part of their body before venturing out into college and dealing with the stress of having a career and stuff like that. And so that's why I targeted high school students. I even made a syllabus. So, So my syllabus is a 7-day unit with 1 quiz, 3 test questions for a single semester class or a whole year class, i.e. our biology classes. And day 1 would be an introduction to neurotransmitters. There was a video and a worksheet, but the video was about 10 minutes long with an hour's worth of information. It moved really quickly. So the video's still there and still part of it, and I wanted to discuss Otto Lowy, of course, and the original discovery of neurotransmitters and just what they do for us. Day 1, we would talk about GABA, which is the king of inhibitory neurotransmitters, and I'll go into that more later. And then it would just keep going more and more throughout the day. I took out day 2 because that was my endorphin slide. So yeah, you can go back to the presentation. And so it goes through each day in these following slides. But spending a week on lectures, nobody wants to do that. No teacher wants to sit there for a whole entire week and talk to you constantly, and no student wants to sit there and take notes over lectures for 50 minutes. It's not really plausible nowadays because we have such short attention spans, and it's really important for us to just get the information quickly, and that's why I wanted to do a more hands-on approach. So I came up with the assignment. It's a PowerPoint assignment or a video or some formal representation of neurotransmitters. It's a way that students can get out of the classroom, or they can use iPads, laptops, computers, whatever they need, cameras from CBN, stuff like that, to basically film or just categorize all these neurotransmitters and the important information that they can find about them. So basically neurotransmitters, and this is what a sample PowerPoint would look like. Serotonin and dopamine are your biggest neurotransmitters that you're going to hear the most about. They affect a lot of what's going on in your body. Serotonin is a inhibitory neurotransmitter. It's what calms you down. It really controls a lot of your sleep cycle. In women, it controls PMS and all that stuff. And in dopamine, it plays a role in your focus, your attention, your memory, and it keeps you alert and stuff like that. People that have ADHD, they give them dopamine supplements, and the dopamine supplements will take care of the levels in their body and keep them elevated and keep them more focused than usual. Adrenaline and noradrenaline are the sisters. They are affected almost the exact same. The only difference is that adrenaline is more intense. It's what gets you your fight or flight. And then noradrenaline is what makes you want to exercise. It's what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. It's basically what coffee takes care of noradrenaline, and 5-hour energy takes care of adrenaline. GABA is the king of inhibitory. It's the one that basically, when all the excitatory neurotransmitters are going out of whack, it stops everything. It stops all your neurotransmitters and it slows them down and it controls them. And you can never really have too much GABA because those people that are super mellow are usually the people who have a really high GABA concentration. They're also the people, if you have a reduced level of it, you will have a high concentration of, you talk really fast. And you also like carbs, which basically means I talk really fast and I go to Panera a lot. But in glutamate, that's really important because this one's an inhibitory. Oh no, it's an excitatory. It's relative to GABA. It's basically the opposite. It keeps all the inhibitory neurotransmitters in check, and it controls everything that we're feeling. It took decades for people to make this into a neurotransmitter, but basically they took glutamate and they put it into monosodium, and made monosodium glutamate, which is MSGs, which are the stuff that makes food grow faster, and people are really worried about consuming MSGs, but and GMOs and stuff like that, and actually it's really good for you. That's been something that they're working on nowadays. And then lastly, histamine. That's your allergy one. And it's super important. It was discovered in 1907, right after acetylcholine. It was actually the second one discovered, and basically it's extracted from the body, or it's extracted from different bacteria that are found around the world, and that's what are put into EpiPens and all that stuff, and mixed in with epinephrine and endorphins and all that, and it basically calms down your body from inflaming itself, and not just in your body, but your brain too, controls that. My presentation was about all this information, but it was mostly getting the information out to people, and it was important to me because it's scary not knowing what's going on in your body, and that's why mothers have post-traumatic disorder, because they're worried about their kids and they don't know what's happening to their kid, and their kid can't talk. And so with neurotransmitters, as you grow up, knowing, oh hey, I'm craving carbs right now, that's a GABA deficiency, I need to sleep more, is something like it's a simple fix versus having to go to the doctors every single week or going to get a spinal tap that's extremely painful and costly and stuff like that. Like, it's just amazing that these simple steps can be taken to take care of your own health. And who will this benefit? It benefits everyone. I targeted high schoolers because we're picking our careers, our majors, we're going into our futures, and where our political changes are happening, and all this stuff is happening to us, and we don't have the time to stop and focus on this, and that's why we have so many missing assignments, because life is moving so fast-paced. With neurotransmitters, if we take this and put it into our health classes and our biology classes that we take as younger students, we're able to focus on that and get to know that, and it just becomes part of that healthy conversation, just like drinking water is important, and it's just something we've known all of our lives. How has DDIS helped me? This course is the most least standardized course you can take in our district. It has no standardized testing. We're not required to pick a certain topic. We're required only to do what we love. And that's why all of us have completely different topics. And so I got to pick neurotransmitters, and just like I'm an advocate for neurotransmitters and the importance of it, I'm an advocate for DIS because this gave me a new confidence. This gave a lot of the rest of the girls in our class a new confidence. It's amazing, this topic that was out of the blue, never talked about in school, now I hope will make a difference. So that's neurotransmitters for you. Any questions?